Hello, William.
Oh, hey, Tyler.
Hello, world.
Are we rolling?
Now we are, yes.
Oh, great.
I've lied to you a few times about when we were.
Yes.
This is not a drill. I'm not lying.
I believe you.
This is not a alert that goes out to all the citizens of Hawaii in December of 2019.
This is not a drill.
This is not a drill.
Well, that wasn't a drill either.
It wasn't, but nothing came of it.
Yep.
And people listening to this is evidence that this is nothing like that. That was a crazy day, man.
What? I know. It was like right during that like North Korea thing too. You remember that?
Well, because it had to do entirely with North Korea, yes.
Yeah. Whew. We almost went to war.
But we didn't.
But we didn't. And you know what? Now
we can talk freely about whatever we want.
Yep.
About dumb stuff like role-playing.
Yeah. Dumb, stupid role-playing. Like in
Dungeons and Dragons. We're not getting weird with it, people.
No, come on. Get your mind out of the gutter.
We might eventually.
Shame on you. No.
Not like you and me.
I sure would not like to talk about that, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure no one would get uncomfortable. 1 hour of it?
Yeah, for 1 hour.
No.
No.
We're talking about the games, silly.
Yeah.
Like our classic Dungeons and Dragons. Who, what, which.
Who, what, when, where, and why.
Who is Gamora? No, which is something that, well, you've taken a liking to in the past, what, year?
2 years?
2 years.
Almost, yeah. Yeah. So, I want to preface this episode to anybody that's listening with, if you haven't played, yeah, it sounds stupid, and it sounds dumb, and you know what? It is. But it's so fun.
So what do you do in Dungeons and Dragons and other light games?
Well, you pretend to be someone else.
Right.
And then you pretend to do things.
Well, why would you pretend to do something?
Well, because you can't do it in real life.
Oh, what could you do that you can't do in real life?
Chop the head off an ogre.
Oh goodness, that sounds violent.
Rob a bank.
Why would you pretend to do these things?
But usually it's, I don't know, trying to stop a really evil dude from destroying something,
and that's why you gotta rob the bank.
Right, because you need the funds to buy the weapons you need to fight the big bad guy.
Okay, but what is, so you pretend to do things by rolling funny shaped pieces of plastic.
Mm-hmm. Or metal. If
you're a super nerd, you get metal dice.
Yep.
And they're not all shaped like cubes.
No.
Usually.
No, that's just one.
There are some different like systems though. There's like D6 systems. I've played.
Oh yeah.
I've played something called Savage Worlds. And it's D6 based, which means everything except for the D20 somehow. So you can use a D4, 6, 8, 10, and 12, but not a D20.
Oh, so you don't use D20s at all?
Mm-mm.
I feel like we should probably explain.
I know, that's why I tried to start it, and then I instantly derailed. So what happens?
Right. Okay, so the basic concept is you get some people together. They make characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is one of your friends, usually, that makes a world. And your characters populate that world. They then proceed to the person who created the world create a storyline, or usually some kind of plot hook that the characters would snag onto or like taking a liking to, and then it's basically just a book that you write out with your friends.
Yeah. A lot of the time, especially for people that are starting out, the game master, the person that does the heavy lifting with the rules and tells most of the story, knows what's going to happen for the most part. They would use pre-writtens, and so there's campaigns, entire worlds that are already written. And I'm actually still a fan of that over like making my own world, because usually they're better than I can do. And of course, like the players, the rest of the group, who are known as the player characters, as opposed to the non-player characters, NPCs that are the rest of the world,
which are done all by the game master.
Yes. They'll also have agency, and they'll definitely be guiding the story. And once you really get it started, it's tag team storytelling with rules.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if any of your characters or NPCs want to do something or try to, for instance, rob a bank, they would have to come up with a plan, and then I want to try to intimidate the bank teller. So then you would have to roll for that using the colorful, different shaped pieces of plastic that we previously mentioned.
And through a series of skill challenges that are determined by chance and your players would kind of have stats to push these chances in your favor.
Yep.
Of succeed.
Yeah.
Of succession. What am I trying to say? Succeeding.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would have a stat that boosts you in that direction, and you want to kind of stick to your strengths, because you also have, as most normal people do have, flaws and things that hold your character back, whether they are actual statistical flaws, or you've decided this character will not stray from these bad character decisions, because that makes them interesting and fun to try and have to work around, rather than everyone plays Superman.
Yeah. For instance, if you were to play a barbarian, which is a class in original Dungeons and Dragons, we're not talking about other things quite yet. Forms of the game.
This episode has a freaking barrier of entry. This is welcome to the learning curve.
Yeah, I figured once we get through all this, it'll open up a lot. You'll catch on if you haven't already. So if you have this character, he's really big, he's really strong.
Big strong man.
Yeah, so you would put more of your stats into strength. But in doing that, you might sacrifice another stat that might be intelligence, which is, you know, the big, dumb, strong character is kind of a stereotype.
Sure. But it's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's cool because then you get to play that character as, yeah, I can beat somebody up, but like I don't know how to talk my way out of a situation.
Don't tell me to play chess.
Yeah, don't tell me. Or like maybe he also, as a flaw to make it fun, maybe he's afraid of heights. So then you're going on a campaign, you gotta get to the top of this mountain to find this wizard or something.
Yeah.
And you gotta get to the top of the mountain somehow, and your character is horribly afraid of heights. So then you gotta overcome that obstacle. You know? It's cool. It's a series of, puzzles and things.
And I absolutely love it. And I treat it like, and it's great because it usually ends up in like you'll play in sessions that are like 4 hours.
Yeah.
which is a lot. Sometimes more. But if you're not treating it as like a game of like, start to finish 4 hours, here we go, let me get to this destination, and you treat it more like it as a real life person, you treat the game as like poker night. Like you can spend 4 or 5 hours playing poker.
Yeah, but then
but you're not playing. But
two of those hours are you just like joking around with your friends, and then you're like, all right, now we should probably get to
Yeah, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite pastime, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Let's start here.
Okay.
Now that we've kind of gave a brief and what's the word?
Thorough. Literally explained everything.
A brief and thorough explanation of what the basic game is. Let's start at the very beginning. Tyler, how did you get into Dungeons and Dragons?
I started playing my freshman year of high school with my good friends, who I'm still friends with today from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, we do still play. We've gone through a few different campaigns and a few different, the games themselves. Different systems.
Systems. Yeah, that's a good word for it.
So we've played a superhero campaign where we the whole idea was you made superheroes rather than these fantastic forces like bards and mages and all that fun medieval stuff. We've done that, but we've also done the classic D&D. It was actually Pathfinder, but it's very similar in theme to this fantasy. And currently we are working through like a little Pocket Monsters one, which it's actually a Pokemon ripoff. And it uses the same system as Dungeons & Dragons 5e.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
It's very convenient for learning. And you just the Pokemon do most of the fighting, but like your trainer has stats and features, and you can't interfere. Like it has the Johto rules or like the League rules from Pokemon, and so like you can't go kick a Bulbasaur if you want to keep your trainer badge, but you can go kick a Bulbasaur. Like it'll do.
If you really want to,
if you want to be a mean Team Rocket meanie head, then you can do that. No, it's been a lot of fun, that whole journey, and throughout that, I mean, we started with the superhero one. You only needed a D20, and that's all.
That's all you used?
We had like one between the three of us that we just kind of passed back and forth.
Huh. That's really cool.
And it's gone and grown, and the hobby has become more of a passion, and now we've got a library of books, a tackle box of miniatures and dice, and a whole tool shed of, like, we have a whole table, or Steven had made a table.
Yeah. And
it's become this whole thing, but all you need is a piece of paper and a ball-shaped die. and boy, howdy, can you have a good time.
Yeah. That's really cool. Did you have, like, a preconceived idea of what it was before you played?
I never really was exposed to it through media or, like, my friends doing it before I even tried it.
Wow.
Yeah, I never...
I feel like that's rare.
I mean, I don't know. I was like It was freshman year, so I hadn't seen a lot of the world. At that point, I knew what my middle school looked like in my hometown, and nobody really did any of that around. And certainly not the friends that I had before then. But they went, "Hey, do you want to try that?" And I went, "What is that?"
You get to be a superhero? Okay.
And of course, the first one I made was Captain America.
Obviously.
What are you? Oh, you're looking at all my Captain America
I'm looking.
posters.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 6 Captain Americas that surround us in this room.
We'll talk about comic books here pretty soon, because like Captain America, I think it's pretty easy. Like, I don't know, it's an easy gift for me. I don't think he's my favorite superhero.
Really?
I'll have to think about it, but I don't think so. I don't like his movies the best, really. That's to be sure.
Interesting. Okay, well that's... I wouldn't have guessed that. I think those are my favorite of his. At least some of my favorite.
They're alright. But yeah, that's my journey to here and now. And you were around it for a couple years before you tried it.
Yes.
So you got a different story.
I did. The first time I remember hearing about Dungeons and Dragons, I was in high school as well, and I think it was like a sophomore, and I heard a couple of the freshmen talk about playing it. And when you're a sophomore, hearing the freshmen talk about anything, you're like,
nerds.
Wow, they're freshmen talking about this? It must be super dumb.
Lame.
And they were kind of like, they're nerdy freshmen too.
Gosh.
And like,
I'm surprised you didn't start bullying them right then and there.
No, I just kind of...
Calling them names, taking their lunch money.
No, it was like, I was on the soccer team and like I never really hung out with...
Oh, so you're like
the
cool guy. Soccer team. The jocks.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, but also I'm not going to agree. I was on the fringe of that. But, still, it was like a nerdy thing. And when I came to college, I mean, I became friends with you guys somehow.
Well, you started out by being a aerospace engineering major.
Yes.
Put you right with the nerds.
Yeah,
You lived in, what building was it?
Honors?
Oh, where the honors students got to stay?
All the kids who take their schooling the most serious. Yeah.
Okay, so now we know this was inevitable.
Sure, yeah, it was.
Okay.
So then I met you guys, and you guys played for like 2 years, I think, that I knew you. And after 2.5 years, at this point I was living with Steven, who was playing. He started playing, I think, a couple months, if not a year, before I did. And I watched a couple sessions with an immense amount of bias. I mean, I didn't want to be mean to you guys, but I was so, like, I cannot believe you guys play this. This is so dumb.
For so many hours at a time.
Yeah, and I was like, you guys play for like 6 hours? Dude, like, what? You just pretend to be these other people and you roll these dice and you're like, oh.
Oh, and I've got so many YouTube videos to watch in my room alone.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
I'm
man.
gonna go watch 2.5 of the Lord of the Rings. See ya, guys.
Yeah. Psh, I have better things to do than, hang out with you guys. So, yeah, no, I was admittedly very judgmental of the whole thing. And, a lot of that was like, I was like, I was a product of the generation of like, oh, Dungeons and Dragons is bad.
Okay.
Because my dad is very much of that persuasion, or at least he was of that persuasion.
Doesn't he? Not to like put words in his mouth, but I remember you saying like he's still like, hey, you ever find out that it's evil yet? No, you will. Just wait.
From time to time, but that's become more of a joke between us than anything. Because I mean, I genuinely was like, well, it's just weird. It's just kind of weird and lame. And then I watched a session. One session is all it took.
Well, it took a lot of convincing to get you there.
You're right. Yeah, it took weeks for me of you guys being like, you want to come and watch? And I was like, I don't want to sit around and watch you guys play this dumb game for 6 hours. And then I got really bored one night. And I went, all right, fine. And by the end of the session, I was like, hey, so like, maybe could I try?
Yeah. And I think... If it's the session I'm thinking of, like, it had some pretty good moments where we fought Trevor.
Yeah, yes. You fought the big... Oh, who was it? Like a genie or something?
Oh, wait, no. You joined before we fought the genie guy.
Oh, you're right.
Because you helped us fight the genie guy.
Yeah.
No, his name was... the big bad enemy guy. He was named Trevor, and we had a whole system... of how to get him dethroned. He was this, like, mob boss kind of guy, see? Kind of. He ran a underground casino. He really wasn't any worse than we were. He just had opposing, like, goals, and, like, we kind of got in each other's way.
It was almost like from what I remember, it was almost like a rival gang situation.
Almost.
Where it was like, hey, you're doing bad stuff, but also just kind of like stop messing with our stuff.
Yeah. And so we developed the appropriately named Trevor system to dethrone him. And you saw the R part of that.
Yes.
The end. It's
of
an
the acronym. Yeah.
So, but I wanted to mention, because there was a part of that fight that, like, I still remember as just so specifically, because it was just a great moment for my character. He just became part barbarian, I think, and the fighter, who was like this tavern brawler type of unarmed fighting style, which is now a fighting style in D&D. They added that.
Oh, cool.
With Tasha's. I'm mad now that I've already played an entire campaign with a jank version of it, but you know.
Yeah.
But the first part of that fight, he got enlarged, and then he punched the bad guy, and then grappled him and pinned him all in one turn. That was.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
The first turn was just the sorcerer made me a big man.
Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember that, and then I remember, after that, you guys, who were you talking to? It was Littlefinger. Was that the guy's name?
Littlefinger? Bongo?
No. It was, he was the really conniving character he always just knew stuff. Kartark killed him at the end of the campaign.
Oh my goodness. We could ask our producer.
You wanna throw that?
Because she made the world. No, it's a Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah. He was the character
Simon?
No. The character of Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. It's the same name. It
wasn't Son. What?
Peter Baelish. Thank you, Yasmina. Yeah, it was. So his name was Peter Baelish. Yes. And I thought of a character in like the last 20 minutes you guys were playing, and Yasmina was like, "Hey, do you want to like try it out, just like a role play, just like a conversation, just like at the end?" I was like, "Okay."
Then we got to meet you, and I doing push-ups.
Yeah. No, that was after, because the first character I created was Kartark, but he was smart, and he was working for somebody else, but that never got incorporated.
Oh wow, I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, because I thought of this character. It was just Kartark. The character that I played for the first campaign, his name was Kartark, and I thought of that on the spot.
Okay.
Yasmina said, "What do you want your character to be named?" And I went, Kartark. I was like, I want it to be like a really big guy. And she's like, okay, he could be a Goliath. That's a race. And I was like, okay, I want him to be like really strong, good at hitting things. She's like, okay, that's a class, could be a barbarian. I was like, okay, cool. And I created this kind of pseudo backstory where he was following you guys. He was hired by somebody to follow you guys and gather information.
And this Kartark did not come
Never
to
came
pass.
back. Never came back.
I don't have any memory of that one.
That, I only remember it because it was the first time I'd ever done anything. And it was like a 10-minute conversation, and I was like, I had like come up with this like fake person that hired me to do this that like obviously never came up because Yasmina, it was her world.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how the rules worked yet. But that evolved into my big dumb barbarian named Kartark.
Well, I want to keep talking about that. But before we get too far from it, it would be a disservice to the people involved in the Trevor system to not review what each letter means.
Oh, yeah. No, please. I forgot, and I was going to ask.
Yes. So T was to talk it out.
Talk it out.
We start the mission with talk it out. Find out some information.
Mm-hmm.
R, we really lose a lot of money. There was a casino that Trevor was running, and while we were talking it out, we had to lose a lot of money in the process betting.
Really,
it was very important to the system because E, we eventually figure some stuff out.
Okay, so we have talk it out. Really lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Eventually figure something out.
Yes.
Okay.
Followed by O.
Wait, where's V?
Well, O is to overlook V.
Okay.
And then you follow that up with the 1-2 punch of R, which is really fuck over Trevor.
This seems like a really simple acronym that was created after you did all those things.
It was created in the middle of it when we were trying to make a plan. Okay. After we eventually found some stuff out.
Okay.
And you weren't in the room. No, this was a magical moment that in real time we started talking about, okay, let's make like a system. Let's make like the Trevor system. And one of the players, Devin, was playing Aku, his character, and he comes up with T, R, and E, which are things that we had already done.
Yes.
And then, without missing a beat, I jump in and went, oh, because I knew what I was going to say. Devin goes, what about V? I immediately changed it to overlook V to save my ass. And then we realized we have one letter left and go just really, really fuck over Trevor. And really that's what we did.
And then you did it. And it worked.
Without a hitch.
Yeah. I think that campaign that we did, run by your girlfriend, Yasmina, and our producer.
Our executive producer.
Yes, Yasmina. I think that just epitomizes everything D&D can be so well.
And we overthrew a city.
We not only did we end up with like 2 more people in the party than we started with, one of our characters died.
Yeah, we had a death.
One left, didn't they?
At the end, my character SJ, he canonically left after his speech. Because there was nothing left for him to do. But then there was there was a big fight, and I went, I'm not going to roll a new character for this.
Yeah.
And I just participated, but he just walked away at the end.
Yeah, like in the middle of this thing we were trying to do, which by the way was really cool. That speech you gave, whew.
It was in the middle of it's a great like creative outlet too.
It really is.
It was in the middle of I was rehearsing for Richard III. I was in that play.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what Richard III is, it's a Shakespeare play. And so I was kind of like inspired by the way those speeches, those monologues really move and flow. And that came through in that character's final speech that I wrote and rehearsed.
It showed, by the way.
It felt good.
That was the most eloquently spoken, performed role-playing monologue in any D&D game I've seen.
And it came from the biggest asshole that I've ever played.
Oh my gosh, SJ was the worst. Like, I liked SJ as a character, but like...
but because he's the worst.
Yeah, he was supposed to be this kind of jerk. And this like self-obsessed kind of guy. But like you saw the growth in him too. Like
for sure.
In the character. Because going along with this being what do you call it? An ideal picture of what D&D could be. You at one point went rogue, made your own like vigilante like
he never wanted to kill, like he never really wanted to hurt anything.
Yeah.
Because he never killed anything but like a fly. And then he got roped into being an adventurer, and then at one point
he went rogue from the party, became a vigilante, started wearing a mask and carrying an axe.
He would dual-wield hand axes. And at one point, you killed a civilian, or like a gang. They were like really lowly and had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, but they were gang members.
And
then you killed one.
That was
the first time you would ever, like, your character had ever killed someone.
And the first thing he did with the body was throw it on the surviving one that he beat up and said, he was, and used it as a threat. And then I Then SJ scared a shopkeeper out of business.
You did?
Because she was supposedly like he had reason to believe he was helping the gang.
Yeah.
And tried to get information out of her by, of course, intimidating her.
Oh.
And that didn't work because she didn't have any information. Mm-hmm. And then the magic shop, the only one in town, closed down.
Ooh. Yikes.
But no, and because it was over a long period of time, like we as people got to grow with these characters, and these characters got to grow. It was like a 2-year campaign, and like at start and end of it, my character was a different person. I was a different person.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
I think it's a really cool way to, because it is like, you know, you're playing a character, so it's like it's all fake, and you know, it's like it's a way to dissociate from things, but they're all characters that you create yourself, that you write, that you act out. You know their mannerisms, you know how they look, and like in a lot of ways it's very cathartic in like some regards. Like, you know,
Chaotic?
Cathartic?
Yeah, I know what that means.
For those of you in the audience who might not know what cathartic means, it means like, there's another word that I'm trying to think of that I can't. It's relieving. It's like therapeutic almost. Like, I can finally get this off my chest.
Yep.
It's a nice way to, you know, do that while also having fun with your friends. And it's also a great way to create relationships with people. Because before we started playing D&D, I was friends with Devin and I knew Devin, but I never really hung out with him, you know? I think same with you. That was kind of right at the beginning of us really hanging out. Was it?
I mean, Devin and I... We don't need to get into that, but the point is, no, Devin and I like hung out.
No, I mean like me and you.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant me and Devin. I was like, we were roommates.
Yeah, you were roommates,
and they were roommates.
Yeah, no, I meant like for me, like I feel like I got closer to all you guys because we started playing. Because you know, you spend 4 hours a week with somebody,
you're gonna get to know them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny that it definitely brought us closer, just having a shared interest that brings you together for an extended period of time. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't feel like that was the first thing. It was probably like cards and whatnot.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
No, I meant because like I remember. I mean, we don't need to get into our whole backstory.
It can bring people together.
Role-playing
games.
Yeah.
And they can bring like people that are not very social into social situations that they can be confident in.
Right. Because they're playing a character. And so is everyone.
Yeah.
And everybody's in the same boat of like, hey, this is kind of who I am. Like maybe like your character wants to get to know my character or like vice versa. And it's cool. It allows for conversation. And that's fun. So, okay, I wanted to bring this up.
Okay.
Along the same vein of like kind of how cool that campaign was is I guess to those uninitiated, it's also really cool because you can try things in D&D. You can come up with a plan. You can come up with a Trevor system.
Yep.
And sometimes it just won't work. And that's the cool part because it's like life in that way, especially if you have like a good DM, because DM, Dungeon Master, Game Master, whatever you want to call them, because things operate with rules, and if you try to rob a bank, we're gonna keep coming back to this. If you try to rob a bank and you don't plan it out well enough, and the guards get there, and you're way under leveled,
Sure.
you're going to get arrested, you know? It didn't work. You did it wrong, you played it wrong, and you failed. And that's so cool, because then you get to experience the failure and go, all right, this puts us in prison. Now what? Now we have to find a way to escape prison.
Or you die.
And then your character's dead.
The worst deaths, man, it haunts me to this day.
Yeah.
The worst deaths that are deaths that you as a character can look back on, like 3 bad decisions that led to it and go, oh, well, why did I ever? And the one that comes up is the Artemis and Apollo death. I should have taken like a health potion. I should have taken a rest. I should have not just given a opportunity attack for no reason.
To something that can poison you.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any backstory to the background?
That's about it. Just character deaths can be. There's a lot of different ways that a character death can go down, and it can be either like it can be either the DM's fault, it can be the player's fault, or it can be the dice's fault.
Yep.
The dice's fault happens. It
happens.
It's
unfortunate, but everybody just kind of has to go, that sucks.
Yeah. The DM's fault are the ones that just aren't fun for really anybody.
Yeah. If it's rough on a DM to make a combat and then somebody dies and you're like, well,
that was supposed to happen. What? Unless the story continues after death, with which we have a campaign that we had a scripted death in that we're working through now.
Scripted TPK. Total party kill.
From yours true, not your... Mine true. You are the DM.
Mine. I am.
Will. Will is.
Yeah.
But then the character-driven ones, those will just stick to you. And yeah, like it was. There's no more backstory other than we were in a tough dungeon, and I made 3 mistakes: not taking a health potion, being in the wrong spot of combat, and giving up a opportunity attack, which is just bad positioning on like the game board.
Yeah.
And they died, and I was upset.
Yeah, that's... And it's always the worst when you're in a campaign, and it's like... And it's a character that you don't necessarily want to die. Like, you like the characters. I think there was... going back to the first campaign we were talking about, Steven's character died in that campaign.
Yeah.
That was tricky because there technically could have been a way to save him, I think, but I think he thought it would be a cool way for the character to end, and he also was looking at other characters to play.
Yeah.
Which is, that's cool, and it also added a lot to the story because my character was kind of, like, it was his kind of first real friend that he ever had. And my character blamed himself for the death of Steven's character. Out of game, we all knew that, like, Steven was like, yeah, I kind of want a new character.
Yeah.
But in game...
actually in game, for, the effect that he had died to, which was being turned to stone. Had we not panicked, he literally just would have been not stone after a day. Like, that's the effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And he texted the DM, Yasmina, said, hey, just make it forever.
Wow.
And that's how he went.
And, yeah, okay.
But then we smashed him, and then he really went.
Yeah, my character said something really dumb to some people who are way stronger than him, and they shot him with lightning while he was holding the statue of Steven's character, and it got shattered. And that was like a running plot line for my character until the end of the campaign. Like, for the next couple of months, he had that was like his motivation in life. Was like, now what? Like, I killed my only friend. Now how do I continue? And that was like super fun to play too.
Was it fun?
I mean, it was fun being like, because it's fun because you're on the outside of it. You're like, oh, I get to be this character who's like distraught, and now he's unpredictable, and you know, where's that going to lead him emotionally, or like, is he going to make a rash decision in combat where he's going to, instead of killing a bad guy, he's going to go try to protect one of his friends, because he doesn't want to have somebody else die because of him. I don't know. It was super. I don't know. It was just a really cool character arc for him.
Yeah. Put a bow on that.
Yeah, I don't know. That was my rant.
I didn't really have, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to play D&D because you get put in these situations that are emotionally challenging in a safe spot with friends where you're having fun.
That is a great way to put it. Emotionally challenging while you're in a safe spot.
But something I'm excited for in the world of D&D. A new system called Bunkers and Badasses.
Ah, okay.
Arriving sometime in the next couple of months. And for perspective on this, a video game that I like to play, which I've mentioned probably many times before, Borderlands, had a kind of fun one-off DLC, which is an extension to the game called Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep, where the characters that you play as in the game play a game of Dungeons and Dragons in their world, which is looting, shooting, all kinds of like Western, sci-fi, weirdness, futuristic gunplay. And that board game is coming to real life, and I cannot tell you how ready I am to play this game, because I spent probably the better part of a year trying to come up with a way to do that on my own.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a lot of taxing time goes into it, and there's always something close enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to do
reskin it, or you can...
Yeah, you don't need to... It's just... Unless you're a whole company that gets to actually make it.
And then make money off of it.
But like for yourself, just play something similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. That's coming up. And other systems are fun. And you've only played 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons?
I have, yes. I tried to plan my first one-off ever as a DM. I tried to plan one for I think it was the superhero one system that you played first.
Yeah. Wait, do you still have that book of mine?
No, it's in the shopping cart with the rest of our stuff at our apartment.
Okay.
But that was like way too confusing for me at the time. I was still new, so. But yeah, so 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is the only system I've ever played.
Yeah, that one's actually the one that you only need one die for, a D20, and it's all just like pass fail, or like you contest rolls. So like both attacking and defense roll a D20.
Yeah. And
so it's not a fixed number that you have to pass, which is pretty cool. Another system that I've played that I was describing earlier, a D6 system. I like these. It was Western themed, and so you had like poker chips that you got to hand out for like achievements, and like they let you re-roll or like replace a roll or add a roll, and you got those for doing special things, kind of like inspiration dice, which the DM says, "Hey, good job. Use this die if you want to re-roll something."
Yeah, you actually cried during your roleplay. Like, I didn't know you could do that. Good job. Take advantage.
But no, in that system, you don't add much. I don't think you add really anything to your rolls. You just have to roll above a 4 to pass, and the way you get better at something is increasing your die size.
Oh.
So like if you're really good at something, you roll a D12, and you still only have to get a 4.
Oh, okay. So instead of rolling a D4, where your chances are 25% to get it, your chances are...
Yeah. That one's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Good.
Oh, I was just gonna... That's I've always been intrigued by like other ways to do it, because Dungeons and Dragons it's the only thing I've learned, but it's so like limiting in the fact that it's like old-timey, medieval swords and shields and magic and stuff. But I would be really interested to learn something like that's like maybe like Western themed.
Oh yeah. That campaign that we got like halfway through it. It was with a group of people that didn't really mesh that well. But yeah, that was a plan to go like across the U.S. and like the setting was like the U.S. lost the war.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which war?
Second World War.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No. The Civil War was a draw.
Oh, okay. So it was,
but like it was like years after that, and slavery had actually been abolished in this timeline for like for different reasons. There was something apocalyptic that happened out west.
Okay.
And that kind of ended the war. They went, all right, hold on.
Maybe this squabble, this war should take a hold to whatever is ending the world.
Yeah, but the country, I think, ended up splitting. But it was a really fun kind of campaign that is outside of that. And there's guns and trains and all that fun stuff. No.
That's awesome.
It was.
That sounds like a really cool like world. I think that's the most interesting part about D&D for me is the worlds you can create. That's been the most fun part of DMing for me, for you guys. Is like coming up with this whole world, and then you guys exploring it.
I always hopefully the next time I try out DMing, it goes a little bit better, because like most every time that I've tried to be the game master, I've ended up getting like burned out. Just working it weekly and like the amount of effort that I put into it, and then I always had like very large parties too, like 7+, and it was taxing.
I mean, there's 6 of you guys in my campaign, and it is almost too much for me. Like, because as a DM, you want to incorporate things like your characters' backstories into things sometimes, and it makes it fun to be like, hey, oh, did you know your dad was like a part of this secret organization, or like, did you know?
Oh yeah.
That
was exciting.
Like this was the bad guy that like killed your husband or something like that, and it just like it adds to the investment and adds to like the coolness of the story.
Yeah, well, sometimes the DM will come up with just a short story that you can do in like one session.
Yeah.
A one-off.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that'll allow like themed ones. Like we did a Christmas one, which was kind of fun.
That was cool.
But Yasmina is cooking up a player versus player type combat, which I know D&D is not built for PvP. It's not.
Yeah.
This is not going to go well.
Oh no.
It's gonna be like 3. We're gonna be so excited. We all got these badass characters and come in, and it's gonna be like 3 rounds, and the highest level spellcaster is just gonna be standing there like, yep, guess I nuked everyone.
Yeah. Well, I cast Meteor Swarm, and it killed the barbarian instantly. So now what?
Yes. So yep. That was it.
I did 400 damage that turn. Is anybody alive? Yeah, no, I've been thinking about that because either I don't see it going for like much more than like an hour. I don't really know how it's, because I mean, you figure each character at the level we're gonna do, which is 16. Mm-hmm. Usually the highest level you can get to is 20.
Yeah,
so 16
it's up there.
16 is pretty high level, but even the characters with the most health are gonna have like 200 hit points, which is the health in the game.
Yeah, mine's sitting at like Coup 96.
Yeah. Which is...
That's a one-turn doozy right there.
Yeah, if you get, a paladin with Divine Smite, and he hits you 3 times, and God forbid he crits, which is, if you roll a 20 on the dice, on an attack roll, usually it doubles the damage that you do. So, there is a 1 in 20 chance that you absolutely annihilate the person you're hitting.
Yeah. No, but here's the fun part of this, though. He will consistently, before rolling dice, be able to do 56 damage a turn.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay. I don't like that. I don't like... As someone who's going to fight you on Saturday, I don't like that you can do that.
Plan A. So, we're going to do this Saturday.
Yeah.
This is going to air Sunday.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on my character, and you don't have to do the same. Okay. But I'm playing a bard that is a better version of a ranger.
I was like, I want to play a bard really bad, just because canonically in-game, bards aren't great at combat. Mm-mm. At least, the stereotype of the bard is they're not good at combat.
Sure. Yeah.
And I could just totally be super memey and just make, like, the dumbest bard that just happens to show up and gets killed in 1 turn.
I might get killed in 1 turn. That's
and then I thought
HP.
And then I stopped myself and I went, I'm not going to do that because I bet Tyler's going to do that.
Well, welcome to that world. No, so he's actually. Here's the thing. If he doesn't get hit, there's some good stuff that can go down. Because bards get to pick spells from other classes. Yeah. They can get access to a spell called Quick Quiver, so Magic Quiver, whatever it's called. It's a ranger spell that they don't get until later. So they can get this spell before rangers can. Okay. And be a better ranger than a ranger. Great. And I can cast a spell and fire 2 crossbow bolts on the same turn, or I can fire 4 crossbow bolts as a bard.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And with like sharpshooter, you ignore up to 3/4 cover. Ignore up to 3/4 cover. Okay. And I can take a -5 to hit for a +10 damage. Wow. So that's a cool 14 damage every time I hit, period. I get to hit 4 times. Yeah. So before dice, that's 56 damage if they all hit. It's pretty dang good. Here's where it gets better as a bard. Okay. Level 6 spell, Mass Suggestion. Oh. And I tell everybody that we're fighting, I concocted all of this. If you kill me, you lose. And then I just let everything else happen and fight the weakest one at the end if it works.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that's a really good plan.
It's an incredible plan. Yeah. Here's the backup plan. Right. Dominate person, the barbarian, make them make a whiz save. And then just fight through them. Yeah. Like, you stand in front of me.
Yeah, I don't see this going more than like 10 rounds. Mm-mm. This is going to be like an hour of fighting. If we get through an hour. That's if there's some roleplay at the beginning. Whew. It's going to be interesting.
Are you excited enough about your character to share how it's going to work? Or are you more of a surprise kind of?
No. I've honestly, I don't have a character yet. Oh no! I have. I really want to do a sorcerer because I love sorcerers. Like, I want to do magic, something magic. I thought about doing a wizard, but I was like, that might be too much.
I think a sorcerer or a wizard will win.
I agree, but I don't really want to win. I just want to kill one person.
I think everyone's in it for, like, I want my character to do this. I don't really care to win. And I hope everyone does that.
Yeah. Because there are a couple things that I want to do. and it's all magic based. So I'm definitely going to be some kind of magic. I've looked into different races and classes, like combinations of like, oh, what's like efficient for like combat. You know, I'm not looking for like a super big roleplay character. So I've gotten a lot of pushes online towards Warforged, which is a race in the game that is basically you're a robot.
Yeah.
And you were built to fight. So they're pretty good at combat.
Sounds like it.
They have higher AC, they have better constitution. But there's also a part of me that kind of wants to bring back an old character that I've played before.
Oh, okay.
And number one at the top is Kartark.
Yeah, I already thought that.
Yeah.
He never hit 16, right? We finished that at like 12?
Yeah. So he
14?
would have that. He got a magic sword at some point in the game. I don't know what level that was. Yasmina created it, so I would have to ask her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got a dragon sword. It's legendary. All right. Thank you. So it's legendary, so I won't be able to use that. But maybe if I edit it.
I'm kind of with Yasmina on that. And we've talked about this campaign so much. I don't think we're ever going to top it.
Yeah.
And I'm with her on it's done. I'm not going to touch SJ. We're not going to go back to that world. Like, it's...
Oh, I don't want to go back to the world.
No, I know, but like I'm keeping the character there.
Yeah.
SJ's locked away forever.
I think... I agree. I don't want to go back to the world. But the way the story ended with Kartark was... it wasn't necessarily intentional on my part, but there was always the thought in the back of my mind that, oh, he could come back. Like, he could show up somewhere else, and I'd be okay with it. Because I don't think he ever got a conclusion to his story. He got so the way it ended for him was very much like open-ended. Like, everybody kind of went their separate ways. SJ did his thing. Aku accomplished his goal. You know, Steven's character did his thing. My character, I think, was the only character that just... He didn't end. Like, he didn't stop adventuring.
Yeah?
Like we overthrew this city. You know.
Great idea.
We started a coup.
With oh my god.
Character Aku.
Oh my god.
Did you not?
Did he?
Oh my god. It's been like a year and a half, dude. You never caught that?
Aku started a coup. Was that always his plan? Oh my god.
That's why you know that wasn't his real name.
I know that. Wait, it wasn't. Oh.
Devin created this character from the very beginning. Aku was not his real name.
But
from the very beginning.
That doesn't surprise me, but just
yeah. His goal was to overthrow this city
with
a coup. Oh my gosh!
Holy man!
This is the craziest revelation on the podcast so far. Wow!
And if you suffered through a bunch of anecdotal stories about how much we love D&D to get to this, I hope you're surprised too.
Yeah. From the very the beginning of a 2-year campaign, we didn't overthrow the city until the second to last session. And his goal the whole time was that. And he basically told everybody without telling them. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Well done, Devin.
Yeah.
Well done. Anyway, so, yeah, the whole point of this was, like, his character, my character, was left very open-ended. Like, he continued his adventuring. And, like, I've always kind of thought, maybe I'll revisit it at some point, but I wanted a good reason. I'm not sure if this is it, but, you know, I'm still thinking about it.
Well, if you don't get anything else from this episode,
right.
I hope what comes through, what's clear, is that it gives you these great stories that you can share And maybe you can't tell, your grandpa at Thanksgiving because he thinks you were actually worshiping the devil instead because you say you were playing D&D.
Yeah.
Right. It's not something you can share, like, outside of this, like, little community. But once you're in it, man, you'll find your group and you guys can reminisce on things that never happened, but they're so, like, it just fills your brain with this awesome story that...
It's like going to the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, or like reading a book, but you get to create it, and it's with hopefully people that you like spending time with, and you can kick back and reminisce, and it's like telling a story that actually happened, where you go, oh, remember when that happened, this one, and you kind of get that feeling, but it's with these fantastical characters, and you get to go beyond what is regular in your life, and maybe it is just. It is in this box of, like, fantasy, but I think that helps put it away in a special room in your mind tower.
Yeah. Because you all experience it together, We all experience... Well, I guess I didn't, but everybody experienced the moment that your character grew big and then punched the big bad guy in the face, and then grappled him. I remember the time you wrestled a dragon. Your character wrestled a dragon.
I remember
you pinned...
but, like, there was a moment where we were supposed to meet up with somebody, and they weren't there. They instead sent an entire, like, regular city population to that point to just, like, act normal until the meet time and then disappear all at once. Like, walk away all at once. How forbidding is that?
That is... I so regret not being there for that session.
That is a moment that I strive to create as a storyteller. Mm-hmm. It's so it looks like a regular day. You're at the meet place. It's your meet time, and the entire public square walks away,
and you're just left alone.
In this completely normal hustle-bustle area.
Yeah. Woo. And you were all like, what is happening at the same time?
And just you will.
Yep.
Just you will wait until my next campaign in 5e, in Dungeons & Dragons, because boy howdy, is there a moment that I hope drops Jaws. Like you had yours where literally hell was coming loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because that was it.
Yeah.
I feel like every DM at some point when you start a campaign has one idea in mind. One moment.
The brilliant part, it was Yasmina that did the fountain.
Yep, our famous producer.
She like thought of that like the day before, like it was already 6 months into the camp. It was just her reaction to what we had planned the session before.
Yeah,
but it's stuck in my brain now.
Wow, that's really cool, and it like it provides a cool thing to like talk to other people about too, because like as much as it is a story made up in people's heads, there's a significant amount of chance to it, like there is life, and it makes it like, oh, it's so cool that like I rolled a 20 right at this moment.
Yes.
And like, and it worked so well perfectly with like, and then your character's grows because of it or something, and it's wild.
But that's it.
That's all of it?
I've checked. That's literally everything about role-playing.
Wow. There's one more thing.
I love this bit.
You don't actually need to dress up when you play Dungeons & Dragons.
No, we don't LARP.
No.
I've thought about it. And I haven't. Quickly decided not to. Think about it.
Let me think about it.
Oh, you know what? I'll throw this in at the end.
Okay.
Let's play a game called Does Will Have to Go to Weirdo Jail? Bum, 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 bum,
I don't know that I like this.
It's a series of yes or no questions.
Okay.
The wrong answer sends you to weirdo jail, and I'll not play a sound effect, but one of these days we're gonna have sound effects.
Have a soundboard.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna go bop. That's you going to weirdo jail. Ready?
Okay.
Would you ever live action role play? Yes or no?
LARP?
Yes.
You would?
No, dang it!
Bop!
I was asking you the question.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess we can't continue this as I am in weirdo jail.
No, I would not. I would need to answer. I do need to answer. I wouldn't. No.
Well, I have no more questions as I've got to go learn my lesson.
You need to go to jail.
Not pass go, not collect $200. That's it.
That's all of it.
Everything.
Yep.
About role playing.
Yep. If you enjoy our podcast, check us out on Twitter, VRA Pod.
I tweet
Instagram.
funny things.
So do I.
I tweet funnier things than you.
That's not true.
I tweeted the GIF of like the Super Bowl halftime show with gosh, what is it? The Weekend? The Weekend?
The Weekend?
No, there's no E.
Oh, The Weekend?
The Weekend, where he's like going through the lights and like looking around.
Yeah.
And my caption was trying to find a joke that hasn't been made with this GIF.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
All right, that's a pretty good tweet. If you want to follow us on Instagram and see all our ridiculous faces that we make while in pictures together, or dumb outfits, that's viewer Regression Advised.
Or, hey silly, go to the description of whatever you're watching on. There's a link tree.
Yeah.
Link. Click on that. You can find us everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for our email, which is viewerregressionadvised@gmail.com.
Yep. Send us a picture of a cat.
Yeah. And maybe then we'll do whatever your suggestion is for an episode. Which we have a few in the queue.
Yes, we do.
Of things to go over. One actually that I saw recently. I'll leave this out. Because engineering failures. That'd be a good one.
Yep. I feel like we could talk about that too. Pretty well.
Qualified. I've done at least like 10 reports on those throughout my college years because they were like, yeah, I don't.
I've done at least 2.
But yeah.
All right. Yeah. We know nothing.
And also to you, congratulations.
Yep.
That's it.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.